actually take.
Anyway, that's what everybody be taking.
Oh, the Adderall? No, I ain't doing that. You ready?
No, hold on. This is true. I'm trying to go. Oh yeah, we on right now.
Okay. All right, welcome to the Just Two Black Brothers podcast. I'm DJ Theory. That's my brother. My brother Poe. And we got the entertainer extraordinaire. We got Mr. Tory Scroggins on with us. How you doing?
Good. Nice to be here.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So I said, so I guess before we get started, I guess you could tell everybody, you know, who you are, where you from, what you do, and then we'll get the interview rolling.
All right. Well, my name is Tory Scroggins. I'm an actor and artist. I currently reside in Sacramento, California, from Los Angeles, California. And guess that's it.
All right. So were you born? You were born in Sac?
I was born in Culver City in LA.
Oh, Culver City. Okay. I wasn't born in Sac, but I was raised in Sac. I graduated from Hiram Johnson.
Oh, okay. I graduated from Luther Burbank in Sac.
Oh yeah. So you was in the Metro League.
Yeah.
Wait, what year?
I graduated in 1994.
Oh, I graduated in 98.
Oh yeah.
My brother, but look, you might know my cousin. My cousin graduated from Burbank. He was a really, really good basketball player named Ben Griffin.
Oh yeah, I do. I know.
Yeah, that's my first cousin.
Wow.
Yeah, him and a guy named Philip. I think they used to play. They were real good in basketball for Burbank.
Yeah.
So I was reading. I saw a couple bios on you. So what's your first love as far as what you do?
My first love is acting.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And how long have you been acting?
I've been acting since the year 2000. So 21 years going on.
Dang. And what happened where you said acting is what I'm gonna do and an actor is what I'm gonna be? Like you got bit by the bug when?
Well, I got bit by the bug. It's crazy, but I was standing outside of my friend's photography studio in Hollywood, just hanging out. And this girl I knew was driving by and she's a model and she saw me and she pulled over real quick and she's like, I need you to go with me on this audition. And I was like, what? Like, that was the craziest thing I ever heard. I'd never been on an audition and I was very shy and introverted. So it didn't seem like something I would enjoy. But she had an audition at her agent's office for a Gap commercial where she needed somebody to pretend to be her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So I went with her and we didn't get the job, but I did get representation from her agency. They started sending me out for modeling jobs and commercials. But when I was going on the auditions for commercials, like you get like, maybe you have to say like one line. And I was like, oh, I could do this. I can be an actor.
Yeah.
And so, but it wasn't until later that I realized what acting really was and the skill set required and all of that. But that was when I got the bug.
So what is acting to you?
Well, acting is a art form. It requires, being able to reach inside of yourself to draw from experiences that you've had to apply them to the circumstances happening in the scene. Acting really is all about listening and responding. So you have to actually, even though you already know what the person is going to say to you, you have to really still be listening to them and really respond in the moment. And so, yeah, it takes a lot of studying and training and preparation and all of that. So I had to go back and do those things to really learn how to be an actor.
Yeah, I was reading something you was talking about. So like, what's some commercials you've been in? Like anything that we probably would have just saw, but since we didn't know who you were, we didn't know it was you.
No, I actually have never booked a commercial.
Oh man,
auditioned for a million of them. I actually did a local commercial a couple of years ago for Cal Worthington Chevrolet.
Oh, where's Dog Spot?
Yeah. Actually it was the Roseville Auto Mall. That's what it was. But yeah, that's the only commercial I've been in. Mainly when I was doing it out there, all I ever really got cast in was music videos.
So you was in some music videos?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Probably the most popular one is Janet Jackson for the song "Doesn't Really Matter."
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, what you played in that video?
It was just like we were supposed to be like in some like nightclub in outer space, and so and it was I'd actually done her makeup a few years before that, and then you know, when I was like started modeling, I would be like going on like 3 or 4 auditions a day. And so I went on 2 auditions this one day. One, I believe, was for a Christina Aguilera video. Then another one was for a Little Kim video. And by the time I got done with that, I was just like, yeah, I'm just like, you know, you walk into these places, they get your name, you sign in, and then they call you in the room, they play a snippet of a song you've never heard, and you're supposed to just dance. And I just felt like I was just like over it, you know. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I had one more audition, and it was for the Janet Jackson video, and I didn't go. And I still booked the job though.
That's crazy.
Yeah, when we got on the set, you know, it was the song from the Nutty Professor soundtrack, and nobody had heard it yet. So we get on the set, and they're like, okay, you know, we just, you know, we're going to play a portion of the song, and we just want you guys to dance. And it was like, the sound of the song was like unlike anything I'd ever heard at that point. So it was really hard to like, you know, start to just dance to it randomly. Like if you call the song, it's not like, you know, you can't. I'm not a trained dancer like that.
Yeah, you can't just get started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Janet Jackson remember you, or she didn't remember you?
Well, yeah, I'm sure she did, but they kept us like everybody off set away from her, and like so we literally like stayed. It was in the Universal lot, so we stayed like out in like a parking lot for like 7 hours or more.
While she did her scenes?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They brought us in right as she was leaving, and they had her in like a golf car. And she waved at me, and she was
she just waved at y'all and kept it moving.
Yeah.
Oh, but she waved. She waved at you because she remembered you though.
Well, that's what I assumed. I don't really know. It could have just been like hi, random
to everybody, right? Everybody, hey, how y'all doing?
Yeah.
Nah, you know what's funny, man? I tell people this story, man. Like when and we both was in the Marines, so we had worked for this security company down in San Diego. This like 2002, I think. And man, this dude was working for the security guy was like, man, since y'all Marines, man, I got a good job for y'all. I don't know what happened with Poe, he went or not, but man, they were like, we got this gig. Just get as many of your people as you can, but it's gonna be a good gig. So I'm like, oh, okay. Man, we go, we drive, and I don't know where we're going, man. We get to the Neverland Ranch.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, well, we at the Neverland Ranch. It's like, yeah, Michael Jackson's having a party. You know, I got the job, I got the contract for it. But they had us outside of the Neverland Ranch, so it kind of sucked because all we did was like wave in cars. But I'm kind of tall, so they had came back out like an hour later. They said, you and you. They grabbed the other dude. He was like 6'6". It's like y'all need it on the inside. Man, that was like the best experience. I mean, you can't tell immature people that story because they think you did something with Michael Jackson, but like, but now we
wanted to go there.
Man, it was crazy there.
I wanted to do something.
Hey, but you know what? Speaking of stuff like that, people do stuff like that to get on though. You know, in that type of industry or whatever. But so when you you did Janet Jackson's makeup years prior to the video. When you do her makeup, can you talk to her, or you just do the makeup and you do your job and leave?
Yeah, I could talk to her. It would be just like me and her in the room, but we were both really quiet. So
oh man,
it was like, and I'm a lot more outgoing now, but I'm still an introvert. But back then it was like real extreme, and
probably shaking while you doing it. Probably like, damn, man,
my hands shake so bad, but. That's how I knew I was an actor, because I just acted like, you know, okay, I do this all the time. This is totally normal. It wasn't, but I would like, you know, try to make a little conversation, and she would too. She was really sweet and she was very nice to me. And but yeah, we would be like very quiet most of the time.
Yeah, that's funny. No, I was reading everything. So I'm thinking like, man, all right. He seems like he a pretty good makeup artist too.
Thank you.
You know, because I said because you had a story where Queen Latifah's makeup artist wasn't available, so somebody just asked you to do it.
Yeah. I used to assist a really big makeup artist named Rudy Calvo. And so I didn't know about it at the time, but now I know it to be the law of intention, like similar to the law of attraction. Mm-hmm. But when I would go into doing things, even still to this day, I would go in with an intention. And so when I would be assisting other makeup artists when I was first getting started, usually as an assistant, I would just either be like doing the dancers or the extras or maybe putting powder on the person when the main makeup artist wasn't around. But I would, you know, even though my job wasn't important, I would say, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to do it so well that whenever he's not available, they'll remember me. Mm-hmm. And so one time I was working with him on a music video for Queen Latifah, and I was doing the dancers, and her assistant was hanging out in the trailer where I was working. And he would comment after every time I did somebody's makeup. And like a week later, my agent called me and said, hey, Rudy's not available. And they asked, where are you? And so I got to do her makeup for Harper's Bazaar.
What video was it?
It was for a editorial for a magazine, Harper's Bazaar.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That was like my first really big job where I wasn't somebody's assistant.
Wow. And then you end up doing, if we fast forward, you end up doing as the article said, a girl group. You end up doing their makeup. How'd you end up doing their makeup?
Okay, so I used to also assist this other makeup artist who recently passed away. Really awesome guy. His name's Eric Farrell. And one day I was in my agent's office. We had the same agent and for makeup, and I was there to get a check or something. And she was showing him an advanced copy of a music video that he had done makeup on. And I was watching it, and I saw these like young girls, and the lead singer particularly just kind of reminded me of Diana Ross, the way she was able to just stand out so much amongst all these other beautiful girls, you know. And I was just like so like amazed by her stage presence and everything. And I was like, these girls are going to be huge. And so like about a week later, I was assisting Eric, and we were doing a Wyclef music video for Gone Till November. Mm-hmm. And a couple of days later, we were doing the remix video with R. Kelly. And yeah, and so I was in the trailer, and there was this little girl in there. She had these big giant rollers in her hair, and she had this really heavy accent, and she was just really chatty, and her and the hairstylist, he was like really flamboyant, and they were just like going back and forth with this really funny banter.
Yeah.
And finally I was like, so how old are you? And she told me she was 14 years old at the time. And I was like, well, what are you doing in this video? Because I'd never worked on a music video where there were kids like that, you know?
Yeah.
And she said, well, I have a singing group, and we're in the song. And then it just dawned on me, and I was like, do you guys sing that song that says something like no, 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 or whatever? And she's like, yeah, that's us. And I was like, oh my God, you're gonna be a huge star. And it was Beyonce. Oh, and man. I didn't do her makeup that day, but Eric was doing all of their makeup, and he was running out of time. So he sent Kelly to me to do her makeup. And she was like really sweet. She was, I think she was like maybe a year older possibly, but she was like, even though she was only like 15 years old, she had like one of those like old auntie qualities, you know. She was like an old soul, and she was just really cool. And but about a week later, I got hired to do their makeup along with another makeup artist. But this time I wasn't assisting. We were both just doing them because there's four girls in the group.
Oh yeah.
So one of the girls, Latavia, sat in the other makeup artist chair, and then Kelly came in, and she was like, "Oh, I remember you from the video," and she sat out in my chair, and then Beyonce came in, and she sat behind them and was just watching, and I knew immediately, like, she was observing, trying to see who she wanted to do her makeup.
Yeah,
I really admired because, you know, like a lot of artists, singers, or whatever didn't really realize the importance of little things like that, you know. And here she was, this little girl, and she was very like aware of those things. And so after the other makeup artist finished first, and then so she was trying to tell Beyonce to come sit in her chair, and she was like, "No, I'm going to wait for him."
oh man.
And so I really admired that too, because she had the, you know, I know a lot of grown people that don't have the balls to say, "Oh, I don't want this," or "I want it like that." You know, they'll suffer through it. And so I was like, this girl is really something else. And plus, it was awesome because the other makeup artist had tried to get me blacklisted right when I first started. So, like, you know.
So what stuff like that happens in the makeup artist world too?
Oh man, yeah, it was like my first job. I thought I was up and rolling. I quit my day job, and next thing I know, like, I found out I wasn't gonna work anymore because somebody had like tried to get me kicked out of the business.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Now I said, man, you know what? It's funny when you get. I used to work for a court, and you know I was a legal assistant. And man, I started hearing stuff about the judges hating on each other. I said, damn, man, judges hate on each other too. There's like, man, people hate on
it's everywhere. It's in the offices.
Church.
Church. Yeah, church. Yep.
Church.
How the hell he the deacon? Yeah.
You can get killed in some church beef.
Well, that's funny. That's true, man. I now that I think about it. So and then I like something you said too about you was talking about you know, just the way like the game is, the acting game is set up where it's like you said, if they casting for something, and you said they need about what 5 roles, 4 of them already going to a white person.
Yeah.
So that one role is left for the minorities to pick through.
Yeah, especially when I was auditioning for commercials, and I don't know if that's still the case today.
But at that time,
yeah, because it would be like, say, for example, it's a Pizza Hut commercial, and you know, a group of guys, and they're all friends, and there's 5 of them. You know, 4 of them are automatically going to be white, and then
you got that token, right?
Yeah, they call them other in Hollywood. So I'm not only just in competition with every other Black actor, but every other
Hispanic, anything of color, basically.
Yeah. And when Ricky Martin really hit, it was like Black guys. It was over for Black guys.
They wanted Spanish guys out there?
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy. We did I did, man. I tried to act for a little bit. But for me, I moved to New York to act. But when I got here, man, I was like, shit, there's so many starving artists, man. I was like, I gotta get a real job. And then my wife, her dad was like, yo, what do you do for a living? I was like, man, I'm trying to do this acting. He said, nah, man, you know, you want to marry my daughter, you gotta get a job. You ain't finna be hanging out in front of no theaters looking for work. Because in San Diego, man, I was doing everything. I was doing stand-up, I was doing plays, and I see you really prefer live performances. That's how I was too, man. I think stage plays, I don't know, you get more money, you get more bang for your buck with what you're watching as well too, because you seeing people who really in this thing for real.
Yeah.
No, it ain't no editing being done. You just getting the person raw and live in the flesh. So tell us a little bit more. 'Cause I know you've done both, so you like the live performances better.
Yeah, well, with film, it's like no matter what you do or what you give, ultimately the editor has control of your performance. And you don't know what it's going to look like until they're through editing it. And so, you know, I guess when you have a lot of experience in film, you know how to do every take so that you still have some kind of idea of, you know, they're going to have to use one of these. So it's either going to come out like this. But Yeah, with theater, it's much more of a time commitment, and it's the thing I like most about it is that you get to tell the story the whole way through from start to finish, and so you can build your momentum and build your character arc in the moment. And with film, you know, they might say we're shooting tomorrow, but we're starting from page 16, and we're only going to get to page 17. And so you just have to work with that little bit. But I also love the instant feedback you get from an audience. And I'm sure you know from doing stand-up and stuff that you know, you it's like you're at one with the audience, and you can feel it if they're not interested or if they're not you know, into what you're doing, and you can feel it when you really have them in the palm of your hands.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You have any situations where you felt where you knew they wasn't feeling it?
Oh God, yeah. Well, you know, not so much that the audience isn't, but because I'm that good. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
But like when I can tell, like I have a standard for myself. And so like when I'm on stage, if I feel like I just like left my body and something else entered it and took over, like I don't remember what I said or did, I just know I said and did the things that I was supposed to say and do, and I feel like I gave a great performance. But there are some days where I'll like work and warm up and build to it all day, and then the show is ready to start, and then I just can't find my momentum. And I feel like I'm like behind myself, like struggling to get there. You know, but the audience still seems to enjoy it, but it's like it still wasn't to my standards, you know. Because like when you're really in it, whether it's a play or a film, your mind is nowhere else but in what's happening in the moment. You know, your eyes can't wander out into the audience to see if your mom came or
You're gonna mess up, you do that, right?
Yeah, you will. And you can't be thinking about, did I leave the oven on at home? You know, you have to be completely in it.
No, and I know like for some people in that industry, sometimes you take on roles that you don't like to get the gig. I remember I wanted to just be in a play so bad, man. I played like an ant that was in it was some ants from like World War II area or era or whatever, man. I think you came to that play? You came to that play when I did it? Man, look, I was an ant. We was ants. And man, we was trying to like plot our like desertion from the art, man. It was crazy because I'm like 6 feet, man. I'm up there playing an ant. But I had to be the best ant that I could be. But then they wanted us to be like doing little ant things. I'm like, man, how am I supposed to? It was so hard, but I said, man, I wanted that role so bad. I was in the Marines too. They was like, how the hell a Marine up there playing an ant? They're like, yo, Commando, you up there doing acting and all that? I was like, nah, but it was just something that I really like to do. And then I was acting. Huh? No, I like doing little things like an ant was. And I had the opening line of the play. But you could tell people, man, liked it because like I did some of my coworkers did come, and then every time they see me, they would just repeat the opening line to me. They'll be like, the queen, and they would always, I think the opening line was like, the queen demands too much. And I had, and at the end, I stole like a sugar cube. So they gave me this big old cube of sugar, like to run around. Man, look, when you think back on it, and I think a lot of people who first getting into it, they take those type of roles though.
Yeah.
I've
been lucky. I've never like from the start, I got really lucky. And now I have a really good, I get really good offers. I don't feel like I've ever had to take anything that I didn't want to do, but there have been times where I've done shows for like a favor or something. And then it felt like, you know, I was like trapped in hell.
Yeah, I saw something recently. Yeah, you the man out there now. So you won a couple awards.
Yeah, I actually won. I'm blacklisted from the local theater awards here.
Damn, why? Cause you too good?
No, because I called him out on social media for being racist.
That's the second time I heard you saying you got blacklisted.
So I know. I just realized that too. But I speak my mind. But you know, I didn't care. I mean, I knew once I said.
You told them they was racist?
Yeah, and I tagged them in it. I wanted them to be accountable. But the next year, they nominated more Black people than they ever had. Not me, but
yeah,
all the other Black people win awards now, so I won. But but I won, ironically, for Sacramento Film Festival twice. Outstanding regional actor. Yeah, so it's ironic that I, do mostly theater out here, but I got love from the film community as well.
That's what's up. What you working on now?
Right now, I am. I have a couple of film projects that I can't really talk about yet because they are still in pre-production. But one of them I'm probably going to start shooting in the middle of this month in Denver. So I'm really excited about that because I'm just dying to go anywhere right now.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, is that? Cause I saw you in some pictures like you had like hair and everything. So is that like an alter ego? Like who was that person?
Oh yeah. Well, that is. I don't know if I would say alter ego. Because I mean I don't have like a separate name or anything, but I do cross dressing.
Go
Shantae. Like, I remember Mark Lawrence had that. He's like, "Go Shantae."
But I don't.
So you cross dress. So that when he saw the photos he saw was photos of you cross dressing.
Yeah, and people are always like, "You should be on that show, Drag Race." But
yeah,
the thing is like drag queens, like that's an art, and like those artists on that show, like they know how to sew. They can like do backflips and land in the splits, and they can do all kind of stuff. Like
I can't do all that, huh?
That's the one with
I just look good.
That's the RuPaul one?
Huh?
You talking about the RuPaul one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
But I do it as a model.
Oh, okay.
I remember when I was little, man, like the Maury Povich, they used to always have the show where they show the world and you had to decide.
Yeah.
It messed me up when I was little. Sometimes you can't tell sometimes. Like my whole thing is sometimes they look too good. So whenever they look too good, that's your antenna should go up because they look perfect.
Man, I thought Wendy Williams was one.
No, she big, huh? Yeah, she is big.
But look, so it was safe to say you part of the LGBTQ community.
Sure.
Because I wanted to ask you, how did you feel about the recent stuff that's going on with the rapper DaBaby? How you feel about that? And I understand it because I said, man, you know what? He was just. I don't know, man. Because certain people, you got certain fans that if you say whatever you say, they're gonna just ride with it. But if some people are gonna be like, damn, you probably shouldn't have said that, right?
Yeah. Usually it's comedians doing stuff like that. And
right.
The excuse is always, well, they're a comedian. Well, to me, humor is not punching down. Humor is self-depreciating. If you have to make fun at the expense of already marginalized groups, then you're not funny. And so for people to say like, it's freedom of speech. Yeah, speech is free, but consequences aren't.
That's a fact.
And also, when people talk about cancel culture, first of all, the gay community has been canceled for decades. They're just now getting opportunities to do a lot of the things that other people do. So that community knows a little something about being canceled. But people who are really into the DaBaby will still buy his music, will still support his stuff. It's what's happening is the people who don't want to be disrespected will not support him anymore.
But hey, I've been saying, I think what DaBaby said was cool, but not cool, but what he said was bad. But shit, ain't nobody talking about Ed Buck. I'm glad you heard about him. Yeah, Ed Buck. It's like a guy out here.
Yeah, Ed Buck. Yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, he got arrested, but nobody talking about that shit. But he was basically just killing them. Yeah,
people were. The Black community wasn't, because the Black community don't stand for homosexuality.
You heard what happened?
That's why we can't get our shit together, because we want to still exclude other people. The Black community needs to stand up for women, for the gay Blacks, and everybody. We need to come together. But DaBaby did that because he assumed that everybody was just going to be on his side, because I'm going after the target we all go after. But what he forgot was that a lot of his fans, because he's pretty much a pop artist, a lot of his fans are white people. And when the Black gays came out and said they were offended at first, he's like, "You being too sensitive. I don't fuck with y'all. I said what I said." But when the white gay community came out,
he put that apology out there, didn't he?
That's messing up his money. He got. I think it was like 6 festivals he got dropped from already.
Yeah, and and I'm all here for it. I'm glad, because hopefully he'll be a lesson for somebody else.
But I gotta keep it 100, man. I don't know what he thinking, but I know me growing up, it was somebody gay around always. It was either somebody gay in the church or somebody gay in the neighborhood. So it's like,
somebody gay in his family.
Right. But listen, this was my thing. I said, listen, man, y'all can't be sitting up there, because I think Boosie came out and was talking about Lil Nas X, and Lil Nas X said he want to sing, he want to perform naked for charity and all of this. So Boosie had a problem with that, calling him the F word and all of this and that. And people were like, "Yeah, man, I stand for Boosie." I said, listen, bro, you can't sit there and be mad at somebody who you say is pushing homosexuality on children, on Black folk, when they push crime, they push drugs, they push murder, all this stuff on Black kids.
Said he hired prostitutes for his underage sons.
Definitely.
I give Boosie a pass for his homophobia, because look at the way he looks. I mean, if I was him, I would be hateful too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I always look at it like people that's like real, like they just hate gays and shit. They probably gay on the low, man. That's all I always look at.
9 times out of 10, Who else is concerned? Who else is that much?
There's no reason to be so mad.
They're also very triggered, because Lil Nas X is doing more success than they will ever be able to dream of. And not because he's gay, but because he's more innovative. He's not afraid to be himself, whatever that may be. Those guys have to stay in a box. Their pants always have to be at a certain length below their waist. They have to always talk with a certain amount of bass in their voice. They can never do anything different or out of the ordinary to be able to elevate to that level, because they're in a box that they keep themselves in. And they're jealous of him. That's why everybody's in such an outrage. That's why he went on that seemingly random rant.
That's like the thing I really like with just people, like it's really like when you see somebody just really living free and they don't give a fuck what nobody's saying. That shit is really like, damn. Like I admire when I see somebody living like that. Like no matter what you is, but when you see somebody just really living how they want to live and they don't care what other people saying, that's a lot. Because especially in this world, it's like, we're so used to kind of following the norm and shit. Yeah. So
it make a lot of people uncomfortable, and then it makes a lot of other people envious.
Yeah, definitely. I be telling sometimes you're only living the way you living because where you were born anyway. You could be born somewhere else and be a whole different way. So it's always, people don't understand all that stuff. Like even like I know they say like back in the day, like in Greek days, that shit was just normal. Everything. Yeah. So it's like it just depends when you was born and all that.
And in a lot of parts of Africa too. But you have people want to say, well, if Lil Nas X can do everything he's doing, why can't DaBaby have the right to express himself? Why does heterosexual people's way of expressing themselves always have to be at the expense of somebody else? It's the same argument, why can't You know, what does it sound like to say, why can't a white person just call you the N-word? He's had freedom of speech.
That shit was weird though, because it was like, bro, where did that come from? Like, you performing, like, what made you?
What made you say that?
What made you stop what you doing to say that? Like,
you never cared about the fact that some white people don't like us. We just didn't appreciate them feeling like they had the right to treat us or talk to us a certain kind of way. You know, you could be racist all you want over there in your own home, but you don't have the right to come out here and get up in my face acting all hysterical and not expect to get knocked out or canceled or whatever you want to call it. But there will be consequences. And the gay community is not playing no more. And the baby is the example.
No, yeah. Listen, but look, if they thought about it, listen, man, you got the Lil Nas X doing this thing. They love Lil Nas X. Tyler the Creator's doing this thing. Probably got the best album drop so far this year. As you see it, you should want to embrace these dudes because evidently they didn't tap into a different fan base. Yeah. Which is probably the community, right? The community is supporting them, and they like, look, Tyler the Creator came out, he being himself, he don't care what nobody think about it. Lil Nas X came out, and plus Lil Nas X, and then he also had the song where he was the country song, so he got his fans from there as well. But and if you looking at it now as a hip hop artist, you like, look, I might want to embrace these dudes and not talk about them in songs because these are the dudes who making money right now.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's the ones buying their records and putting food on their tables.
Hey, look, I always tell rappers when we interview them on here, man, you want to make some songs for the white people that go and buy the music.
Yeah. Well, you know, there was a time in the early 2000s where several rappers, including Eminem, kind of changed their tune with the homophobia because, you know, they realized that if you look at a lot of the artists, like especially a lot of the female artists, or including a lot of the men like Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, Sammy Davis Jr. I
would say Little Richard.
Yeah, Little Richard, but these people were made icons by their gay fans, but especially the women like Diana Ross and Barbara Streisand and Cher and Madonna or Janet Jackson.
Yeah, Prince.
Prince. These are people who could always just, you know, they don't ever have to have another hit again. They can just always get up and do a tour or do a show and make millions of dollars, largely because of their gay fan base.
Yeah, I was looking at Prince. I'm like, man, Prince was like, what they call it? They call it now gender fluid. But if you look at Prince back in the day, you wouldn't know if he was a man or a woman. Like,
well, you know, both Prince and Michael Jackson, by the textbook definition, were transvestites.
Mm-hmm.
But
who? Michael Jackson and Prince?
Yeah, like man, if you go look at Prince like in the 70s, man, when he had the hair like all out, man, you be think I looked at Prince one day and I thought it was a girl singing. You remember when they was like, "Don't look Prince in the eyes, don't look Prince in the eyes."
They were both very beautiful.
Yeah.
But you know, I just always admired the way people like that, like David Bowie, Grace Jones, Prince, or Michael Jackson, like people that played with gender norms and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is, we're all born both masculine and feminine, but depending on your culture and your society, you're only allowed to be certain things. I mean, look how we do like these gender reveal parties and buy all these blue and pink stuff before the baby is even born. They don't even have genitalia when they're in the womb. Right. You know, and we're like already like forcing that on them and stuff, blowing up houses and stuff, having these parties.
No, I felt bad. I had felt bad because we was at dinner. I got a 5-year-old son, and he said something, man, like, and this is just us being the way we are. So he said, when I get married, my wife's name is gonna be Bella. And I said, but really, I don't care. Really, I don't care. But my wife was like, oh, you got caught slipping. because I always say I don't care.
Yeah.
But when he said my wife's name gonna be Bella, I said, "Woo, there we go." But and you know what it is, and it's not
That's
because
my drag name.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, kidding.
Hell no. But yeah, it was so funny, man, because I was just like, oh, I got caught slipping because I always talk about I don't care. But if you would have sat there and said my wife's name is gonna be Michael, I probably would have been like, what? But at the end of the day, like I say, man, I think when you because I don't know, man, like they got the thing where people say were people born this way. I got a brother-in-law who's gay, so I'm like, but they said he knew when he was like 6.
Yeah, he
was crying different. You're like, why are you crying like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's been scientifically proven that you're born with your gender and your sexual attraction. There was a case, I think in like the 70s, there were these 2 twins that were born. It's a really famous story and there's several documentaries about it, but it's really fascinating. But this is when they finally realized people are born with their sexuality or their sexual identification. But these 2 male twins were born and one of them during the circumcision got botched. And the doctor convinced the parents to just give it a sex change operation.
Damn.
And that's what they did. And they used all kind of psychiatrists and everything and to try and force this little boy to be a little girl. And, you know, he just knew he didn't want to wear dresses. He didn't want to play with girls' toys. And like, he would get in trouble. He would get beat. He would get everything. And he just refused until about the time he was like 20 years old and he committed suicide. But it was through that case because they documented them and studied them throughout this process. And but they realized that
he knew he was a boy.
Right. And you can't, you know, you don't just change your gender based on influences, you know, from seeing Lil Nas X.
Right.
Guy on TV, you know, that doesn't make you gay.
Right.
If that's the case, everybody will be straight from watching Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
That's a fact. Huh? No, yeah, I kind of believed it too.
Will do it.
yeah. Megan Thee Stallion. I said, you like some Megan Thee Stallion. You like, damn.
Yeah.
Look at Megan. She got them things moving, huh?
You might be out there turning people straight. I don't know. I have had a couple of dreams about her.
Oh man, but nah. I appreciate this conversation, man. You know, it's good to have these type of conversations because you never know who's watching. And
yeah,
you never
I appreciate you guys even brought it up because, like, this is where it needs to be had. You know,
especially on a show like this, where you know we pushing that hip hop culture and things like that, and we got rappers and all type of entertainers who watch the show. So you want to see that type of stuff. So
they just need to do better, you know, and open up their minds because they're limiting themselves. You know, it's like there's so much that I feel like they can't do because they all have to look the same and dress the same and act the same.
I know,
or else you're gay.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I'm gonna tell you, man. It's like I noticed I've been noticing like it's so many like I guess you'll call them like alpha males. So, you know, like Bruce Jenner, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people. It was another guy had a documentary. He was like a power lifter. Like he won all the powerlifting awards, but the whole time he just felt like he was a woman. He ended up having sex change. So it's like so many of these guys they'll be like Navy SEALs. And then all of a sudden they end up being a sex change and being women. So it's like these ultra alpha males that end up having sex changes and being women.
They both said they knew all their lives.
Yeah, so I'd be like, yeah. So they be so ultra. I guess they just try to make it. They're trying to run away from that feeling, so they just go extra hard trying to be the manliest man. But they really want a woman inside. So I'd be like, damn, that's crazy. So I just try to wrap my head around that psychology sometimes.
Wrap your head around that next time you look at one of those really hard gangster rappers.
No. You know what? Actually, I don't know. I gotta remember his name, but I actually had a guy on my podcast. He wrote a book called Hiding in Hip Hop.
Oh yeah.
Basically, like he was like an executive, and he was talking about all these rappers he slept with. Oh, Terrence Dean. That's his
Yeah, I
name.
know Terrence from LA.
Yeah, that's my homie.
Oh,
Well, he ain't my homie, but I had him on the podcast a couple years ago.
Oh, you know him too, Tory?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so he was talking about a lot of. Oh, so like it basically a lot of them.
Yeah, he didn't give no names, but he gave some tea, I guess.
I know some of the names.
Oh man!
All right, well, you gonna give us shit?
No, nah, we ain't that type of show. Hey, Poe want to know. Tell him on the side, but nah, look,
it's not cool to out people.
No, but you and what's
hey,
this?
My only thing is, it's not cool to out people, but when them same people be like trying to put down gays and they doing it.
Yeah, if one of them put somebody down, I'm out there. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like they should be out of because you got like people like that, man. You got people like, no, I don't fuck with that shit. Yeah. They be the main ones doing it. So it's like, man, don't be like that. Like, I don't believe in that.
I just read a story about Deshaun Watson. What one of the masseuses, she came out and she said that because if you follow his thing, he got charged by a whole bunch of masseuses. He like to get massages. That's his thing. Multi-millionaire football player, he get massages from anybody he can. So all these women came out and was like he been sexually assaulting them or he was like inappropriate. So they had one girl, she just came out a couple days ago. She was like when she massaged his like butt area, his butt, she was like he was like, make sure you take care of the butt. So she was like, okay, I guess he want his cheeks rubbed. So she was like rubbing his cheeks. He was like, no, I need you to go in the butt. She was like, hell no. She was like, hell no. He was like, nah, I need you to go in there. And she was like, dude wanted it. He didn't mean cheeks. He meant put your finger in there and rub around. So it was like
he wanted that prostate massage.
Yeah, he wanted that. Yeah, exactly. She was like, but she was thrown off. She was like, why he so adamant about me doing that or whatever. But on the flip side, I said, man, listen, why are you going to so many different masseuses? Like, and there are actually masseuses out there who are just professional masseuses. They're not trying to do no freaky stuff in there.
Right. Yeah.
So if you found you 3 or 4 that do that, stay with them 3 or 4. You trying to go
9 out of 10 do. I don't know how he keep ending up with the ones that don't.
Definitely.
It's hard to find real masseuse.
Yeah, you got bad luck. That's why we think it's all like y'all know what y'all was doing. Because if he was inappropriate the first time and you went back 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th time.
I'm gonna say this shit again because I used to get massages, so I know all it costs is fucking $40 and they doing extra shit.
Yeah.
So all them girls did, once they found out who he was and how much he was making, they was like, oh hell no. That's what that was. Because he probably broke them off like 100, 200.
But he should have been giving them 1,000, huh?
Yeah, once they went back and figured out how much he made, they looked that contract up, they said, oh hell no.
I imagine that happens to every masseuse where you have some type of discomfort with the way the person is responding. But
right.
You know.
But like you said, most of the time, they with it, right? But so as far as so you got the 2 films, you got any stage plays coming up?
Yeah, I got a play I'm really excited about in September. Opens September 10th out here in Sacramento at Cap Cal Studios, a new theater opening up out here. Well, just opened already with their first show, but we opened September 10th, and it's called Freeze, starring Tom Sizemore and myself. Tom Sizemore has been in several movies. He's a really great character actor, from Saving Private Ryan, Devil in a Blue Dress, Heat, and man, I mean, he's worked with everybody: Steven Spielberg, Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington, everybody. But
he giving you some game?
Yeah, he's real cool. Yeah, he came out here last week for our first table read, our first read through. And then we'll be a rehearsal at the end of this month and then go ahead and open in September. So I'm really excited about it. But it's about it takes place during some riots in LA, but you don't know which riots until the end of the play. But it's my character works in a convenience store, and he's coming to kind of check on the store in the middle of the riots and the looting and all of that. And when he goes into his store, he runs into this police officer, a white police officer who's hiding in there. And so I think that's kind of all I could really say about it, but it's really intense. It's really good. So anybody in the Sacramento area, go to www.capcalstudios.org and get your tickets for free. Or go to my Instagram at Tory Scroggins, and it's in the link in my bio. But it's going to be really good.
We'll probably buy a couple, man, just to support you. I ain't gonna make it. I'm in the East Coast, but there's gonna be some empty seats in there because but my family is still there too. I don't know if I can get you can't never get family organized to go do something, but I could try. But I remember one time I did a play. I was doing this play in San Diego. I was the lead. Man, I was the lead till the day before the play. They brought the real actor, man. They brought Chaz Shepard.
Oh man, did you know that was
from I kind of see. I knew he was in play, but we never seen him. So I'm like, okay, he must. I guess as an understudy, if you ever been one, you like, damn. You don't hope the person. You hope and you don't hope. You like, all right, well.
I hope if I'm gonna be honest, I've never been. I'm not gonna just hope.
Because you doing the work, right? You putting all the work in. Yeah, man, I'm putting all the work
in.
Doing
falling down some stairs if I'm not understudying.
So the day before the play, I guess he flew in from Philly. You know who he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He come in, man, and then he didn't even want to. I guess it was some money issues they had, so he had threatened on the day of the play, like an hour before. Like I guess they told him they wasn't paying for his accommodations, so he had threatened to sit out. So he did the first act of the play. We did the intermission, and like the intermission after the second scene was like, he had to break up a woman being raped, like. A girl he liked was being raped by a dude, so Chaz had to come in and like stop the rape. But like he was boycotted, so the girl getting raped for so long on the stage, he's like, "Yo, where's Chaz?" And I'm sitting there like, "Oh damn, I might have to run out there and because I knew all the lines and everything. I was so scared, man." But he eventually went out there. They did it, but because he wanted more money. He wanted his hotel stuff paid for. It was a small theater though.
That's the dude that got shot on.
Set it off. He had the Acorn Projects tattoo in his head.
Yeah.
But I was saying that because they did that to Noah, my first cousin.
Mm-hmm.
They did that to him.
My bad. How you learn the lines real quick like that though?
I said he must have had the script in Philly where he lived and was going over, but he never did the rehearsals. The gospel rapper gospel singer Tone. Mm-hmm. He came out. He got divorced. His ex-wife was in the play. She was so fine, man. She could sing so good. But she was like, she knew he was gay.
Yeah.
She knew he was gay, but she was just like, he gonna put me on.
Right. Tone
gonna put me on, and then after that, I'm gonna go do my own thing. That's kind of what happened. But yeah, so that's what they did to Noah with Soul. So Noah did Soul all the way up, and then they brought in Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
But Pixar hooked them up because on the DVD, on the outtakes and deleted scenes, they put his scenes on the DVD.
Oh, that's
as a way to be like, oh, that's our way of saying sorry we fucked you over. But
that's real cool. Yeah.
But like you say, ain't nobody gonna turn down Jamie Foxx no matter how long you've been doing them lines, huh?
Yeah, that's happened to me before, but not on that level. But I was doing this show called Noah's Ark. It was a TV show, and they called me in to do a scene, and then it was just weird all the way through because the casting director asked me, "Do you have a problem kissing the guy on screen?" And I was like, "No." I've kissed several guys off screen. But when I got there, I got the script. A lot of it was redacted, and like it turned out it was just a sex scene, a full-on sex scene, which I didn't have a problem with either. But I thought, if this had been some other actor, they could just like storm off the set right now,
All day.
But I didn't have an issue with it at all, and so we filmed it, and then it was the show hadn't aired yet. It was just a brand new show. And so when it was finally about to start airing, they did like a screening at the Egyptian Theater in LA. And I found out about it just through a random friend I ran into, and I was like, oh, okay. So I got a ticket to go and see it. I was all excited. I didn't know if it was going to be my episode or not, but I just wanted to go and support the whole thing because I knew people in the show that were regulars on the show. And so when I got there, it turned out the scene came up, and I was like, oh, this is my episode.
Oh, man.
And then I'm looking, and I'm like, man, my arms look really good. And I'm like, how'd they make my back look like that?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm looking at this guy, and it turned out it's this other actor who I totally know. It's not me at all. We kind of resemble, but not really.
Yeah.
And like they like cut it with scenes like in the real close-ups was my face, like really briefly in moments. And it was like that was just the strangest thing to me.
Yeah, that's some shady stuff right there.
I mean, it could have been a technical reason or whatever, but
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I have the director and producer of the show now is one of the producers of P-Valley. So
that's my joint too, man. That's my show right there.
My boy.
Me and my wife love watching P-Valley, boy. Because he played that. Man, look, I ain't know he was gay in real life. He played that shit so that I had to go and look him up. I was like, oh, he gay for real. Like, okay, that's how he played that role. So he played that role so good. I had to go look him up, man. I was like,
I wonder if he was even an actor before that.
He probably wasn't, man. Look, he played that so good. He was a natural for that.
Yeah.
He was good, man. Paul, you saw P-Valley, right?
No, my wife was telling me to watch it. I ain't watching
P-Valley. That's good stuff, man.
I can't wait for the next season.
Yeah, that's good TV right there. We got to get out of here though. We got another, man. Every time we have fun, good guests to talk to, the time fly by. Any shout outs you want to give out to anybody, and let everybody know how they can find you on social media.
Okay, yeah. So everybody can find me on Instagram. Please follow me at Tory Scroggins, TORYSCROGGINS. And from there, in the link in my bio, you can find the website to get tickets or information to my upcoming show, Freeze, September 10th.
Definitely. All right, my man. Appreciate you coming through. You got to come back. Come back when you. All right, definitely.
Absolutely.
All right, Paul, you got anything?
No, nice talking to you, bro.